Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the big man Boisterous coming to you with some gold league goodiness out of the Rasenji crypts. Up here in the top left hand corner we have Morpse spawning in as the red Protoss, and down here in the bottom left as his opponent we have Rasenji spawning in as the blue Protoss. As this game starts off, I would just like to they're actually both mattering, so this is not a standard Protoss game for me. Man, manner, impressive. Both little players are keeping up pro production, not a whole lot going on. So far in this game, it's really just completely standard. We do have Morpse going for the pylon at the front, actually, or not Morpse, sorry, Rasenji. And what's Morpse doing? His pylon is actually pretty late. He's going to be supply blocked for quite a bit. At least quite a bit longer than Rasenji. I mean, he's going to be supply blocked for 13 seconds, so that was definitely some sloppy play out of Morpse. He really needed to get that pylon earlier. He should have dropped it with his scouting probe, because he had 100 minerals when he could have just dropped it and then continued going on with that scouting probe. We do have Rasenji going for the standard gateway builds. Actually, both of them are going for standard gateway timings at 12 and 13 respectively. We do have Rasenji picking a bit ahead in the worker count. He's actually getting a later gas though, and this is usually when he wants to drop your gas. So he does have a bit of a later gas, so he might not be able to get a sentry off of that first gateway as soon as the cyber core finishes. But that's not really that major at this level of play. And we have Morpse going for his second pylon. Has Rasenji dropped his yet? No, he just dropped it right now. I don't think this is actually a tight wall off. Actually, no. Wait, no. Yeah, it is. Alright. He did manage to create a tight wall off, but walls aren't really that important in the PvP matchup. You just don't need them. They're not that major. And we do have an earlier cyber core coming up for Morpse, so that's definitely good for him. You always want to be the guy with the first cyber core, because that means faster warp gates for you, unless your opponent just chrono boosts warp gates out, which means, you know, more probes for you. So dropping that cyber core first is always a good thing to do. Yeah, walls in PvP, you don't really need them. If you're going to create a wall, you might as well just have a sentry out and then just wall off your ramp. A standard wall off with gateways and pylons doesn't do a whole lot unless your opponent's going like mass zealot, and barely anybody ever goes mass zealot without some like blink stalker support. And if he has blink stalkers, they can just blink up over here, and the wall will actually start to work against you, because it stops you from getting really good concave on stalkers that are over here. And we do have Morpse not mining off his second gas yet, getting a really fast forge actually. So this looks like it's going to be a style that's just really fast upgrades, and we do have just really fast. And that style is pretty good. We do have Rasenji going for 3-gate robo. And Morpse is only at 1 gate right now, so I'm kind of surprised by that. I think he should be going for at least 1 more gateway. If not, 3. But this is interesting. We could definitely use another couple gateways. He is getting +1 ground weapons though. And +1 ground weapons will actually help out his effectiveness a whole lot. With +1 ground weapons, stalkers I think do a bonus just 1 damage, but it's pretty good. It might even be 2 damage. I'm not quite sure though. We do have pretty good defense out of Rasenji, including a pretty fast immortal. So I think he'll be able to hold this off no problem. Hold off any early aggression, that is. And I think that if Morpse had gotten those gateways earlier, I think he might have been able to push this in, but he didn't have the units needed for it. And we do have the no, they do not yet have +1. Is he chrono boosting out the +1? Because I think he should be. Yeah, I think you should put another chrono boost on that +1 upgrade. Also, he needs like a 4th gateway because he is not optimally using all of his producing structures. He's up to 1,000 now, so he definitely needs like 4 or 5 gateways to pay off the amount of mineral income you get from one base. There you should go for some sort of tech structure like a Twilight Council or a Robo. Probably not a Stargate, because Stargates aren't that great in PvP up until like the very late endgame phase, where you're like going for like Colossus, Void Ray, Stalker, which is an amazing unit composition, but up until that point, Void Rays are kind of useless. And we do have +1 armor coming out, and he's switching into a lot of Zealots actually, which is definitely an idea I support. If you see your opponent going for like Stalker Immortal, you definitely want to go into Zealot production, because Stalkers do bonus damage versus armored, and Immortals do bonus damage versus armored. So you really just you want those light biological units instead of the armored, the armored Stalkers. And actually he's warping in 3 Stalkers to completely counteract what I said. Oh well. Do have a probe going in for the proxy, but oh no, I think it was just trying to scout. Actually, I think that was going to be a proxy, but then he got found. And we do have a couple of sentries rolling out, and this isn't going to be a good engagement for Morpse. You should just run away. Yeah, good. Just run. There's too many Immortals. You're not going to be able to fight this. Those Immortals will absolutely wreck you. Oh god. Alright. Okay, good. He is running from the Immortals. That is a good idea. We do have 4 gateway production up with charge on the way. He needs to be chrono boosting out these upgrades. He really needs the chrono boost out charge at least, because without charge your Zealots are essentially useless. They'll just never reach the enemy forces. And with charge they will absolutely slice and dice their way through the Immortals of your opponent. And we do have Colossus tech on the way. It still has around 50 seconds to go, but I think that'll actually beat charge out the gate, and it will. So he really needs to start chrono boosting out that charge if he wants a hope about fighting off these Colossi. What did he put his chrono boost on? Was it on the charge? He also needs both of these players. Actually, Morpse more importantly, because Rasenji does have an expansion, but Morpse really needs an expansion. Because this is too many probes for one base. This is 32 probes. Well, 34 probes if you count the 2 that were in the geysers when I double clicked, but no, not good. You definitely want more stuff than that. And we do have Colossi tech up, but a Colossus has not been started yet, so he did not have enough gas to start that Colossus, which is definitely a blunder. You really want, you should be watching that tech building structure finish, and then as soon as it finishes, you should be starting your Colossus, because you really need a Colossus out ASAP if you're going for that kind of like a Colossi rush E play. Like, he wasn't quite Colossus rushing, but it was pretty close. And we do have the Zealots forming up into a formation to rush in. And I think if these Zealots capture these guys on the low ground, they will absolutely destroy this army. And it looks like they're going to be swinging around at any point now. The Nexus has gone down, so he is expanding behind this kind of pressure push. And it looks like he's going to be going for a proxy pylon in the base. Or, well, not in the base, but up on this ridge. Which is definitely a very good spot for a proxy pylon. It's very hard to attack, really. And we do have the Zealots, and he needs to be pulling back. These Zealots will absolutely tear through his army. Oh, God. He did not pull back at the right time there. Now, Morpse is going to be able to pretty easily pull this off and get this expansion, because Rasenji needed to pull back as soon as possible, or at least drop force fields into a spot where those Zealots would have into a spot where the Zealots would have at least had a harder time of getting in, because the way that happened. Oh gosh, this Colossus is gonna go down. This Colossus is gonna go down. Oh, that is awful for Rasenji. If Rasenji can hold this off, I will be absolutely amazed. His next Colossus is getting chrono boosted out, but I just don't think it's going to be fast enough even getting chrono boosted. We do have +2 armor on the way. +2 weapons is already finished. So these stalkers do 16 damage to enemy stalkers, which makes enemy stalkers a 10 shot from his stalkers. So all these stalkers can just start one-shotting his enemy stalkers, and these zealots will absolutely tear through his enemy. Yeah, this is not a good situation to be in. If this Colossus gets sniped, he is done. I'm amazed that he's not trying to snipe this gateway faster, because now that gateway is done, it really doesn't matter if he pulls back into his main, because there's not a good wall off there. Morpse will be able to just really easily just run on through, and this is actually an insane supply lead for Morpse. It is 70 supply to 48, and 72 supply to 48. It's not a situation you want to be in PvP. And he just, it's Manor Nexus. He doesn't actually need to transfer any of his 32 probes down there, 34 probes. Nah. No, they're just hanging out, mounting out these minerals really fast. And we do have actually really good saturation out of Rasenji, but his natural is about to go down, so that does not have good saturation. Is this Colossus gonna go? No, the Colossus does manage to stay alive. Yes. Oh, don't send the Colossus back down. Whew. All right. But I don't think this is gonna happen no matter what. This Colossus. Oh God. I still think Rasenji is. This is basically just waiting for the end, because we do have +3 weapons coming down, and as soon as that +3 weapons finishes, it's gonna be game over. There's absolutely no way you're going to hold off 2-3 zealots with 0-0 colossi. 2-3 zealots will absolutely bring your face in, especially if he starts going for like a robo, which I think he should be doing right now. I think he should transition into like robo with warp prism, just like a warp prism to drop in some zealots right here while he attacks in the front, because your opponent with this amount of army cannot hold off everything. And it looks like these colossi are going to get seen up from the low ground, and one of the colossi goes down. Force field misses. Oh, and Rasenji has left the game. So guys, that was a pretty nice show of what fast upgrades can do in PvP. This is actually a build I experimented with when I was playing a lot of Protoss. I'm not playing a whole lot of StarCraft 2 lately. I don't know why. I just haven't really found the time to get games. I've really just been commentating mainly. But this was definitely a good show of a really nice strategy that can take place in the lower-ish leagues. If this happened in a higher league, I bet his entire army would have just gotten force fielded off, and he would have been absolutely dead. But it's Gold League. You can do this. So anyway, guys, you can head on over and check out all of my other videos at Boisterous at youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. You can send in any games that you want me to commentate into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. And if you guys want to support me and help me get a couple more viewers, go ahead and post in the Battle.net thread that will be at the bottom of the description. Just post any feedback, questions, concerns that you have about my videos, any ideas on what you guys want me to do. Just go ahead and post in there, bump that up to the front page, help me get some more views on it. So anyway, guys, this is Boisterous signing out.